A good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Parshas Vayechi. Very exciting, dramatic end to the book of Brachos. We have Yaakov Avinu giving brachos to his children, framing them, telling them what their potentials are, telling them what they could achieve in this world. And he takes Efrayim and Menashe, elevates their status to that of Shvatim, that of tribes, and he's mevarich them and gives them their mandate of carrying on the legacy of the Jewish people. And Efrayim and Menashe are elevated to the status that we use them as the paradigm of the brachos that we give to our children. Friday night, we turn to our children, we lovingly put our hands on the head of our child, take all of ourselves, everything is inside of us, and pour it into our children. And we say to them, Yisimcha Elokim k'Efrayim and Menashe, God should make you like Efrayim and Menashe. Yivarech Hashem, and then we give them Berachos Kainim. The question, of course, is that why do you give your kids a bracha that they should be like somebody else? We're always telling our kids, I don't care what other people are doing. Right, but Dad, but everybody's doing that. What do I care? This is the right thing. This is what you're doing. Yeah, we're giving them a bracha. And we're saying to them, "Yisimcha Elokim k'Efrayim and Menashe." God should make you like somebody else. Don't make it like somebody else. Make it like yourself. Why Efrayim and Menashe? What do we give to our girls? We say they should be like Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, like the Imos. So why not give that bracha to our kids, to our boys? Yisimcha Elokim k'Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. The truth is, I think, that we're giving a very special bracha to our children. And what we're saying to our children is that the bracha that I give you is that you should have the strength to be able to stand up for who you are and to be focused and clear about who you are no matter what's going on around you. To our boys, we say you should be like Efrayim and Menashe. Efrayim and Menashe that grew up with nothing. They grew up disconnected, grew up with only Yosef as their example. They didn't grow up like the other Shvatim. They didn't grow up with Efrayim, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. They didn't grow up in the proper environment. They grew up in Mitzrayim. And yet they stayed focused, completely focused to who they were. So much so that Yaakov was so amazed. Who are these kids? Where did they come from? And therefore we turn to our sons and we say, you should always be like this. You should have the strength of Efrayim and Menashe. And we turn to our girls and say exactly the same thing. So Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, each one of them, very trying circumstances, very trying environments that they grew up in. And yet they were able to emerge. Not only because of that, not only despite that, but because of that, they were able to emerge as incredible people. That's the bracha that we're giving our children. That no matter what's going on around you, the reality is we live in Galus, and the reality is that there's all kinds of things there's all kinds of noise out there in the world that's competing for our attention. You should have that ability to be able to be focused and that strength to stay true to who you are. But how do you do that? There's got to be a little more than just a bracha. So fast forward to the end of the Pasha. They come down to Mitzrayim. They want to bury Yaakov. They come up to Eretz Yisrael. They want to bury Yaakov. Standing in front of the Maras Machpelah is Esav. And a conversation starts to take place. Negotiations. Esav says, you're not burying here. What do you mean we're not burying here? It belongs to Dad. Dad had your brother had the deed. Where's the deed? The deed is in Mitzrayim. Well, then go back and get it. So they said, okay, they looked around for the fastest one of the brothers. It's Naphtali's. They said, okay, so we'll send Naphtali back. He'll come back. He'll bring back the deed. And they're having this whole negotiation. Meantime, Yaakov Avinu is sitting rotting in the sun. And he's decomposing. He's melting. And this is what's going on. And everybody's like, comfortable with this conversation. They're into it. And they're trying to come up with a solution. We know that there was a grandson of Yaakov Avinu by the name of Chushim, the son of Dan. Chushim was deaf. Chushim is, turn off the sound in this whole story. And what are you seeing? You're seeing Zaidi rotting in the sun, And a conversation is taking place with Esav and his nephews about his brother's burial, and all you can see is that, they're shaking their heads no, they're pointing to Mitzrayim, he's looking at it, what's going on here? Zadie's melting in the sun, cut it out, man, this is disgusting. And he picks up a stick and he walks over to Esav and he lobs his head off. Done? Wasn't upset about his father rotting in the sun? Yisachar? Zevulun? It took a deaf anicle to say, stop the madness. Let us bury. Get out of here. The rabbis explained so beautifully that it was dafka because he was deaf. It was dafka because he couldn't hear all the noise, and therefore he couldn't get used to it. He couldn't accept it. He couldn't adapt to it. Because amazingly, we hear the most outrageous things, and we have this ability to be able to adapt to them, this ability to be able to be influenced by them, to listen to them, to hear them, and they make a difference on us. And very often, the things we hear and the things we see just sway us. They just knock us right off our path. Chushim had the advantage of being deaf. He couldn't hear that noise. He knew one thing. The one thing is that Zadie needs to be buried. And he was focused and clear, and he didn't deviate one iota. Sometimes to make it through this world, to be able to stay true to who we really are, we have to be deaf to all the sounds that are going on around us, to all the little voices that are chirping in our ears, things that we're being told that, no, this is the right way, no, this is the right way, this is the emes, this is the emes. We have to be deaf to all that and focus on what we know is the emes, on the emes of the emes. That's how you end up with a child like Efrayim and Menashe. That's how you end up with a child that stays true to who they are, because they make themselves deaf and impervious to everything that's going on around them. The minute we become so open-minded as to say, oh, but there's so much great stuff going on around, you should listen to it, you should hear it, that's the minute that we are guaranteeing that we're going to be knocked off of our path. Our job is to stay focused and true to who we are in our core. And the only way to do that is to block off the sounds and the images from the things that are coming on outside, so that we don't get used to the nonsense of the world and we stay true to what we need to be doing. When we give that bracha tonight to our children, we should have that in mind. It's not just God should make you like two wonderful boys, nice Jewish boys, Efrayim and Menashe. Or should make you nice Yiddish Meidlach, like Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. God should give you the strength to be able to stay deaf and to be able to stay blind to the things that are going on around you, and to be able to stay focused. Because when you stay focused, you will emerge like Efrayim, Menashe, Rachel, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. You will emerge as people that are true to their very core, true to what they believe in, and true to the emes of the world. Everybody should have a wonderful, amazing, beautiful Shabbos.